Assalamu alaikum dear students, hope you are well and healthy. Welcome to NIEBS Homeschool. This is Fatema Sabrin Shikha, Assistant Teacher of National Ideal English Version School, Morniji. Today I am going to take Bangladesh and Global Studies class for the students of class 8 on the topic chapter 10. I am repeating, today our topic is chapter 10 and I will discuss on this chapter. Students, this is lecture 20 and homework number 14. I'm repeating, this is lecture number 20 and homework number 14. Students, please take your textbook. I'm going to discuss on chapter 10. So, let's begin. Chapter 10 named Social Problems of Bangladesh. In this chapter, we will learn about social problems of our country. Lesson 1, the idea and the causes of juvenile delinquency. Delinquency means offense. Different offenses committed either by the immature boys and girls or the juvenile are called juvenile delinquency. So first, we have to know what is juvenile delinquency. Different offenses committed either by the immature boys and girls or juvenile are called juvenile delinquency. And now we will learn about the age limit of juvenile delinquency. Offensive work done by the boys and girls between 7 to 16 years are called juvenile offense in Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka. So the age limit, which is 7 to 16, is similar for Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka. If there is any girls or boys who is below from 7 to 16 years, and if he or she does any offensive work and through the law of Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka, it will be considered as juvenile delinquency. And for Pakistan and Thailand, the age limit of juvenile delinquency is 7 to 18. Students, look, for Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka, the age limit is 7 to 16, but for Pakistan and Thailand, it is 7 to 18. It is different for the country Japan. Japan, the age limit is 14 to 20 years old. Here, this is most important. Japan is 14 to 20 years old. But in Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Thailand, the age starts from 7 and ends in 16 and 18. But Japan, they consider as the children from 14 and ends in 20 years old. So we have to know about what are juvenile delinquency, what things, what works will considered as juvenile delinquency. So such as stealing, murdering, gambling, fleeing from school or fleeing from home, beating, bombing, teasing, throwing acid, taking drugs, etc. All these works are treated as juvenile offense or juvenile delinquency. So if any boy or girl is involved in stealing, murdering, gambling, fleeing from school or home, beating, bombing, teasing, throwing acid, taking drugs or anything that is offensive, that is not considered as good work in the society, will be considered as juvenile delinquency. And the age limit will be according to the country. Poverty is the main reason of juvenile offense in our country. So there are so many reasons behind this juvenile delinquency, but it is considered that poverty is the main reason of this juvenile offense in our country. And there are a lot of reasons, and among them some reasons are inability of the parents to spare time for their children. So our parents usually used to do job and used to work outside of our home. They don't get proper time to spend with their children, and that's why our children get involved in this type of works. Next point, lack of affection and caring. Sometimes we have so many siblings and we have a lot of family members. That's why our parents did not get proper time, proper arrangement for showing their affection and caring. And that's why sometimes children used to think that their parents are not affectionate and not caring towards them. And for the result of this, they involve themselves in stealing or fleeing from school or home, mixing with bad groups. Next point, premature death of parents or their divorce. So in some children, we find that the premature death of their parents or father or mother, it affects in their mind. They can take it easily. When they lost their father or mother in the time of earlier age, in childhood, there is no guardian to who can lead him, who can show him the proper way of life. And sometimes in some families, father and mother are divorced, and that's why there are negative impacts in the child. So by the premature death of parents or the divorce of parents, it has negative impact on our child, and that's why they are in juvenile delinquency. Next point, excessive punishment. And when a child does any work that is not good deed, our parents used to punish our children, and we have to think about the age, and we have to think about the intelligence of the child. If we think a child will behave like an adult, it is not correct. So we think that our child does the most heinous work, and that's why we punish them. And a child who is an infant can take it easily, and they, for the excessive punishment, they involve them in such juvenile offenses. And number 4 point, lack of proper recreation. When a child doesn't get proper arrangement of recreation, that means they can't play, they can go outside, they can roam with their friends, with their family, with their relatives, it has a negative impact on their mind, and that's why we see such offensive works. And next, bad company. Children usually mix with their friends, with their group, if they do mistake while changing, while selecting friends or company, there is a great impact on them. If they mix with bad company, they will do the works that a bad company do or a bad friend does. So they used to involve them in teasing, in acid throwing. Sometimes they used to take drugs. And last point, abuse of mobile and internet, and so on. Abuse of mobile and internet. This point is most important because in today's world, children are mostly affected by mobile phone and internet. They are using mobile phone, using internet, and they are passing most of their times through these devices, and that's why they can easily do such works which are not accepted in our society. So that's the main reasons after poverty, while this child is involved in juvenile delinquencies. Now listen to the effect and the prevention of juvenile offense. There are different kinds of juvenile offenses, and juvenile offenders are frequently related to drug addiction and other bad habits. When a child is involved in such delinquencies like murdering, stealing, fleeing from school, gradually they used to used to do smoking and drug addiction. And when a child is related him in drug addiction, this is the most bad habit of life. Next, preventive measures. So tendency of juvenile offense is increasing in Bangladesh. Day by day, the tendency of juvenile delinquency is increasing in our country. The following steps should be taken to prevent this. So how can we prevent this? How can we minimize this problem? The consciousness and the responsibility of guardians. If our guardians are responsible and conscious about their children, they can lessen this problem. Our guardians or parents must have to spend more and more time with their parents. They have to take their responsibility, whether a parent can be a job holder or not, but it is important to give him time more and more. Next, socio-economic program. We can involve our child in various types of socio-economic program. If a child is involved in such programs, he or she can develop his mind. He or she will be a mile away from this juvenile delinquencies. He will be aware of these offensive works, and he will remain off from these works and will be able to aware someone else through this socio-economic program. And next point, education opportunities. If a child get proper education opportunity, he will involve him in his study and he will not get this type of works. Most of the time our poverty is the main reason behind this works, and poor society who used to live in slums do not get proper education. So if we ensure the education of these children, they will live this type of works. And next, recreation. We have to arrange proper recreation of our children. We can arrange for indoor games and outdoor games, and also we can arrange for such recreation that will from that they can earn knowledge, and from that they will not only learn knowledge but also they will be aware of all social activities. Now students, I am going to talk about lesson 3, the concept and causes of drug addiction. Drug addiction begins by mixing with the drug addicted friends. So first time when we mix with our friends, and if we mix with bad company, then it can be happen with us. That's why we are saying drug addiction begins by mixing with the drug addicted friends. The juveniles take drug being instigated by friends only to get momentary excitement or curiosity. We know our children are very curious. Because of curiosity, because to get momentary excitement, for the first time they used to take drug. But when they take for the first time for curiosity, later they used to take it as habit. So they change their habit and they used to be drug addicted, and later this drug addiction becomes the cause of their death. So if any child is in drug addiction, it can be the cause of his or her death. There are such type of drugs, and we can say hemp, penicillin, heroin, yaba, etc. are intoxic drug items, and badly influenced by the culture of another country through cinema, TV channel, internet. Our children are badly influenced by the culture of another country. They watch cinema, TV channel, or using internet. So they are mostly out of our culture, and because of the mixture of our culture and foreign culture, they are highly influenced, and because of this they are get addicted. Now listen for the impacts and prevention of juvenile drug addiction. Drug addiction is now become a frightening problem in our social life. A drug addict may suffer from physical death such as heart disease, TB, cancer, asthma, etc. So what are the diseases because of drug addiction? A person can suffer from heart disease, TB, cancer, asthma, and at last he can be dead because of this drug addiction. So how can one prevent from him or her from drug addiction? The preventive steps, following steps should be taken for drug addiction. If anyone wants to free from drug addiction, he can follow this. First, moral education. So everybody should think about their moral education. For this, parents can take important steps, because our parents can provide moral education as children pass most of the time in the family. The parents and the elderly persons of the family should play an active role to teach children religious and moral values from their early age. So religious restriction and moral values can be done by our parents, our elderly people, our friends, our relative, or anyone. Next, anti-drug awareness. We have to think about anti-drug awareness. Anti-drug awareness and social movement must be built through religious education and other means. So through moral education, through religious restriction and moral values, anti-drug awareness can be race. Next, social cultural activities. Social cultural activities and sports organization like club, society can play a significant role to resist drug addiction apart from teaching moral education. Next point, arrangement of recreation. Arrangements must be made for healthy recreation, and infant juveniles must be attracted to this so that they do not get inclined to drug addiction and other bad habits. Side by side, steps should be taken to stop the production of obscene films. Besides, it is essential to implement exciting laws and take steps effectively to prevent drug addiction problem. Laws of drug addiction control. To prevent the drug addiction, the government of Bangladesh has signed 3 conventions of the UN, that means United Nations on Drug Control. The government also signed the Anti-Drug SAARC Convention. SAARC means South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation in 1990. The government has enacted the law on the use of tobacco products last in 2013. Students, now I am providing your homework for vacation. Your homework for vacation will be 15 MCQ from chapter 10. Please do 15 MCQ from chapter 10 as your homework for vacation, and the submission date of your homework is 29th May 2021. Students, that's all for today. Hope you have understood today's topic. Keep practicing at home and abide by your parents. Stay well and see you again. Till then, Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.